animals because our eyes have more visual acuity, so we're able to see more things, so we have more cells to process that. And not just more cells to process it, it turns out there's interesting things to see and learn about, so we have a lot more cells to learn about things. We have like a whole area off on the side called the temporal lobe that just learns like faces and names of people. Now, lesser animals like cats and dogs, they don't have that circuitry to learn faces and names, or if they do, it's minuscule. It's shrunken up and tiny. Like, this is the thing that expanded and made humans smart, is the cortex, and it like just learns things, but it doesn't really care about what it learns. The thing that makes you happy and sad and angry at certain people and not others is like a tiny amount of logic here, and yes, the amygdala as well is in here. But um now this is sort of like the root or the foundation of your behavior. It makes you hungry and happy and sad, and you learn about the world and what you have to do to survive through, the hard reality of this stuff here. Makes you horny for some people and not others, and angry at some people and happy with other people. But then, like, you do learn about all that with your conscious brain, and if you train yourself to be like a happy, kind person and well-adjusted, normal person, then when this system down here, the emotions in your brainstem and your pituitary gland make you see red and get angry, your cortex can say, "Oh, no, we're gonna shut that down." But people who have damaged cortices, damage in the brain, and they can't shut down the anger and the other emotions here. Yeah. That's a thing that can happen. If you get brain damage, then you'll get angry and you won't be able to inhibit the anger. And in the extreme, if you have an animal that has no cortex, if you take like a dog and you basically give it a lobotomy, a bit actually more than a lobotomy, very invasively remove large amounts of its brain, then what you're left with is an animal that can't inhibit their anger, but they still have anger because you leave that part of the brain. And they will just flip out at stuff. You pinch them and they flip out. You open the door to their kennel and they flip out. And then they walk out and they see, oh, there's food here, and they're happy again because they're not very smart anymore. But so if a human has a similar type of brain damage where, like, they get hit in the front of the head, or they get a virus that causes inflammation that then literally compresses their brain and damages it, or they get, oh god, any number of other bad things happen to their brain, then you can like get situations where people are uncontrollably irrationally angry. And that's just like blunt brain damage. That's not even going into like pathologies. There's a lot of ways that you can get people who have emotions that are out of balance. And if you have people who are healthy, then normally when their emotions get out of balance, most people, adults, not children, but adults, are able to recognize, hey, this is like unhealthy. My emotions are not working right now. I need to like leave the situation. Take a deep breath, Most people have a modicum of self-awareness, but not everyone does, and that self-awareness happens in the brain. So if you have brain damage and then your emotions get out of check, you're not going to be like aware of that. I've heard stories about people who just like they change their medication and their doctor gives them a pill and it makes them have like a little bit of like brain fuzziness, like brain fog almost. And then something happens and they flip out and they just like lose their fucking temper and have the biggest Karen moment. And it's like directed at someone who they've talked to before, are nominally friendly with, and they're just in the middle of the supermarket, and it's the guy who serves them the food every day, and they're just like having a meltdown. Because like their brain wasn't quite all there because something happened.
I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna clip this.
That's a very charitable. Okay. That's a very charitable explanation about why people sometimes